been asked to talk to you guys about South Africa and Christmas is spent over there. And although we're a Christian family and therefore we celebrated Christmas in the sort of traditional sense of the way, of the word, because it's summer in December in South Africa, it's a completely different setup. So there are no snowmen, there's no holly or anything like that. It is warm, and when I say warm, I'm talking about 35, 36, 37 degrees Celsius. So Christmas dinner looks slightly different. There's some meat, yes, but there's loads of salads because you really won't have lots of hot foods to go with it. And traditionally what we would do is we would go to church on Christmas Eve and have a really big family meal, sort of midnight feast. This was our family tradition before Christmas started. So we'd go to church, come back, eat, and then because it would be way past 12, we get to open our presents really early. And so whilst from a sort of Christian perspective it was very similar on what we celebrated and what we believe, it's just because it was a completely different sort of climate. It was weird having a white Christmas the very first time when I came over to the UK. And I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight and a little bit of a flavour of what South African Christmas is like.
In Nigeria, Christmas, we celebrated Christmas in a very traditional way. Had a Christmas tree, went and saw, as a kid, you know, went and saw Santa and got my presents and really loved that. And went to the story of Jesus, you know, listened to that in school, had nativity plays and sang carols. Christmas Eve, went to church on Christmas Eve, went to church on Christmas Day. Then we had a huge meal at home and just celebrated Christmas, I think, like a lot of people did in the Christian world, or do in the Christian world. So Christmas is very much, I consider, a traditional event, or I thought it's been the same, you know, same experience right through, and perhaps the same experience as most people today. And that's the Christmas I remember. But of course now, it's a bit more special because the real person behind Christmas is Jesus.
Hi, my name's Maria and I am Welsh and I come from Merthyr Tydfil. As you know, it's God's own country, so the traditions that we have were one of the best. Well, a few of the best actually. The main thing is Christmas Eve was the time when we started things off. They used to decorate the houses with mistletoe and holly, and there used to be a very big toffee making session in different houses because they thought the only way to keep awake for the early morning Christmas service would be to do something. So they made toffee and they used to invite people in. This toffee was called taffy, and when they invited the people in, it was called a noson gifliath. And this usually happened in the coal mining towns of South Wales, like the Rhondda Valley, Neath, Dowlas, Merthyr Vale, Aberfan. You've got the idea. All around there, and it was a very big tradition, and they used to do that at birthdays as well, apparently. And then they used to have crowds going into the streets blowing cow horns, shouting verses and carrying torches during Christmas Eve. They also had the Mari Lwyd ritual, which is where they used to carry this horse, a figure of a horse on a pole, and they used to go from door to door singing carols and shouting verses. And then they would challenge the families in the houses to also invent verses, so there would be this patter between the two of them. And then they'd be invited in for refreshments, which I have no doubt is why they wanted to continue with the ritual. And then you would have what they called the plaiging, which was the early morning carol service, which is 3 AM in the morning till 6 AM in the morning, and that's why they needed to stay up the night before with the toffee. And you'd have the men troopsing down to the chapel, and they would sing without music. See, that's how clever the Welsh are. And they would sing 3 or 4 part harmony carols. And then afterwards, of course, the dancing or whatever they did, the drinking and the refreshments would then begin for the Christmas day. So fun all round.